Boom. What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. We're back again for Omni X-Men. And as with me, as always, my co-host, John's Comics with Kids. John, what's going on, man?
Hey, just ready for talking about an annual, which is, not our usual getup here going. And of course, Chet wanted to be here for this from the jump.
Heck yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited to talk about this, and of course, as you just mentioned, we got our man Chet back with us again as a guest. So, what's going on, Chet? How you doing, bro?
Good, guys. You know me. I'm always glad to do these and run up in your spot and and preach X-Men all day. So I love this book. This is a great book. It's a side job basically, but it's so good. I mean, I'm glad I didn't get to miss it or have a chance to miss it since I forced my way in.
You twisted our arm a little. No, we're happy to have you here, man. So anybody watching this, whether you're here right now with us, we got 4 people hanging with us, or if you catch the replay, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to John's Comics with Kids, because every other episode we go back and forth on each other's channels. So and John, we'll be swapped here. So I'll be the evens guy from now on. You'll be the odd guy. So I can make odd
shenanigans, threw a little wrench in our whole system.
And then, of course, make sure you're subbed up to Chet over on Instagram as well. I put Chet's information down below as well. So anybody who doesn't follow you over there, I highly recommend doing it, because Chet has some bomb books. And speaking of, we're talking about Annual 3 tonight, and I know Chet was just showing it off before, but Chet, what do you got signed over here this time? Let's bring this up. Oh yeah, 9-4. Very nice.
Sounds like Claremont.
Very nice.
Impossible. There you go.
It's all good.
There it is.
Very nice. Yep.
Unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable. I love the location signature, the way Claremont always puts it there.
Right on the logo, yeah.
Speaking of which, I have to show you how he signed my 107. It's very different.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I dig it up, I'll take a picture of it for you.
Okay,
but very different. Not the Claremont usual spot or anything, but I'll show you. Quite different.
Well, let me ask, did you buy it like that, or did you send it in yourself?
Oh, my 107 I sent in very recently with 5 others. My problem was I forgot to have them pressed. So
you were telling me about that. Yeah.
So it came
you
back
might have a little
6. Brandon's book came back 7.5. I'm so upset with that. I mean, I promised him that I would pay for a press next time I send out books to press. That was my fault. So
yeah, that's all good. It happens. Hey, these are books in your PC anyway, so you can always get them repressed later whenever you want. Let's say a quick hello to the chat here. I saw Brandon chiming in a little bit. He's over on Lamer Frame right now drawing with Rod, just Rican in his comics. He said he'll be over in a little bit. And he also added in, as we were just kicking off, he said, I won round 1.
That's all you got to take it. You just get your 1.
Yeah, exactly. So very cool. Thanks for hanging out, Brandon, and we'll catch you as you come back. Lasso here says, you're too much of a Star Wars fan when your sex life is strictly Han Solo. Oh, Han Solo. Yes, sir. Great one. Lasso, appreciate you stopping in. Let's see. We got the Jackson Roy Kirk hanging out with us. What's going on, Jackson Roy Kirk? Thanks for hanging out as always. He's starting to catch up within the raffle stuff that we have going on. He says, I've heard others say that John is the odd guy. Not me, of course. Yes, it's going around.
It does go around. Yeah, I've heard that myself.
Usually bearded is around when that's being said. We also got TJ in the house. What's up, TJ?
TJ.
Thanks for stopping in, man. Let's see. So I can't believe Justin read that. I mean, you put it there. So I'm like, what's his name? Where I read the prompter. I'm just always going to read the prompter. No matter what.
Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. I'm Ron Burgundy.
There it is. Yep.
So yes, our kid-friendly show here has gone to the next level. We got my man Albert hanging out with us. What's up, Albert? Thanks for stopping in, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and that you're subbed to these guys. Before we get into all the goods, just a reminder: stay for after the show, because we are going to ask those questions that we always ask, where you can get a chance to win either Omnibus Volume 2, which we'll be giving away, or you can get a chance to get into John's mystery raffle, which he'll also be taking a couple names. And then we also have Chet, who's giving away a little bit of some X-Men stuff as well. So that's all coming up very soon in terms of us actually doing the raffles. So only a handful of episodes left for you to really get your name on the board. So if you're not sure what we're talking about, stick around for after we go through this issue, and we'll break it down a little bit more for you. And you could have a chance at winning one of these gifts. So, and yes, good information to know. There you go. So with that being said, we are talking about the King Size Annual 3 from for the X-Men run, and that's with Claremont. Actually, I meant to bring that up. Did Claremont actually? He was the writer, right, on this?
Yes.
Okay, because I know we changed artists here.
Yes, we did.
So that was a little bit of a change up. But before we get into all the details, let's just talk high level here as we do. So John, I'm going to send it to you first. What were your overall thoughts of this book, and how would you grade it?
I joked with Justin before Chet jumped in. I was like, I don't want to break Chet's heart, but I didn't pick any panels I loved this week because I was like, I just did not have the same passion for the artwork that we've had from Byrne. I mean, it's not fair. Byrne to Perez I love. Hey, I have a lot of love for George Perez. It's not John Byrne, and so it's like,
how you say this here.
So this one, if it weren't for what we get from Nightcrawler and Storm in this issue, I would really struggle with this issue.
Really?
Archon is such a boring guy. I mean, he's like the Star Trek villain who, when you understand his whole plot, you're like, so your whole problem is you refuse to just say what you want. You have to just be a complete D-bag about everything, and you can't just say, hey, I need help. And they're like, no, we can't say that. Our honor would not allow us, but we totally need your help. And we need it.
But he gets to that point.
He doesn't even. I think at the end he hasn't learned anything. He's like, oh, well, clearly our plan worked really well. We should do it this way every time.
Hey, there are some people with some really big egos out there, John.
This guy, come on. And the hilarity of it all is like, this is the third time we've had to come and do this. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We really can't figure things out for ourselves, but we can't ask for help. That would just ruin the whole thing. So yeah, again, I mean, Storm is phenomenal in this. Just really, really great. There's some Nightcrawler bits that I thought were really, really well handled.
Yes.
I've got a ton of Cyclops questions because I feel like they rewrote his power system in this issue that I was like, I don't remember him being able to sustain electricity in his body and not be injured by it, or that he's powered by the sun like Superman all of a sudden. Like I don't remember any of that element to his abilities. So Chet's going to have to knowledge me up when we get to some of that.
If I can, but I'll tell you with this. Oh, I'm sorry. You were
delivering
a grade.
Yeah, I mean, so overall, I would probably give this an 8, probably in that 8 range for me.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, Chet. I apologize.
It's okay. Don't be sorry.
Chet's like, it's not the first time that you've insulted me.
Up tomorrow.
Yeah. John, do you not see the man's guns?
I know. My noodles are not going to help me in this.
Chet, we'll pass it over to you. What do you think of this issue?
You know me, guys. I fall in love with this stuff every time I read it. This story took me off course from the 94 to 143. It brought me into the Avengers realm, and it made me dig backwards to find out who is this guy? What's going on? He knows Thor already. He's already harassed the Avengers for help. And now he's back. I love the action in the beginning. Obviously, the Danger Room, Colossus, Storm, the way that scene shaped up, the way Archon introduces himself to the X-Men, the way he earns himself a first-class flight out of the mansion, and, the way he decided to smoke their trees by getting hit with them, and then them going to a different world. So overall, I liked everything that was not the norm in regards to this book that we've gone through with the X-Men before. It was just different. So that's, basically why I like it so much. I like the art, obviously. I mean, yeah, it's not John Byrne, but it is George Perez. And at the same time, I was reading John Byrne in the X-Men. I was reading George Perez in Teen Titans. And it was easy to love both. Obviously, we all love John Byrne more because we're full of X, but so to speak. But the bottom line for me is I love the book. I think it fits in at the right time with everything else that we're currently involved in it strays away from that before they bring us right back into another big story in the actual pages. So to me, this book is the grade I have, literally a 9.4.
Nice. I like it. I see Lasso here who said, I see that he said, see, I thought the art was good, but much filler in this issue. So that's interesting. Kind of a flip flop from what John had said.
If I may, I think most annuals back then were filled to fill. You know, that basically they're all filler. Not a lot of them actually contain the actual big story. Obviously, you got your annual 10s with Rogue and Miss Marvel and Amazing Annual 16. You have your rarities in terms of annuals that are impactful. But as a filler, I thought this one was really good because it gave us a little backstory. It gave us a little fill-in in regards to what was actually going on, even back when he first came along. And obviously it was solved a good way. Yeah. For a happy ending.
Yeah. So I have to say for this particular issue, I explained a little bit before in the last time we were live on John's channel, but I didn't read this the first time around when I was reading. You know, I just stuck to the main numbers and I didn't go off to any of the annuals other than Giant Size X-Men 1. And so for me, this was like a little bit of an extra treat because I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm blind here. I'm going into this blind, kind of bringing me back to last summer. Cause that's what I was blind going through all these issues. And that's what I just love that experience. So for me, I love the issue. I really enjoyed it. I think a 9.4, 9.6 for me, like it's up there. And it's funny, John, that you point out the artwork. I think I was just so into the story. I didn't take as much time to necessarily judge some of the artwork. And I'm sure as we go through some of these slides, I might, see some things where I'm like, oh yeah, okay. If it wasn't the prettiest or whatever, but it was good enough for me to where it kept me in the story. It kept me going. And I mean, like you're just saying, it is like a fill-in in a way, but it catches you up on everything that you need to know just for this particular story. And it was like a little mini movie in a way, like, I mean, there's some crazy shenanigans, but there's always crazy shenanigans, So I was down to just go with it. So I actually just had a really fun time reading this for a first time experience.
I think this might be the first time Justin has outgraded me.
Oh man, maybe.
Golf applause. Golf applause.
Oh my God. Right now. I'm so proud.
Your journey when we met last year. And here it's like violins and
you're so proud, right? You're so proud.
I hear the X-Men theme going off in my head.
In the background. We gotta get some background.
Oh my gosh.
Chet's like
so funny.
Little no good comics all grown up.
So Morbius is here.
Hey, what's going on, Morbius? Yeah, and I see Roy Kirk says I was a little taken back by Perez in the early pages, but when chapter 3 starts, he gets awesome as usual. So that's another interesting thing. So let's dive into this here a little bit. And
one last Frank Miller did this cover, I believe.
Oh, I saw his name in this. I didn't know what he did.
Get it. Yeah, it's Chris Claremont story, George Perez and Terry Austin art. Frank and Terry are on the cover. And I remember when I was going to get this book signed, the person that handles my submissions said, do you want Frank Miller on there? I said, I don't know if putting $150 or $200 signature on there is the right move. So I said, we'll worry about him later.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So let's dive in here. Oh, what's up, Nerdy Couch? We got Nerdy Couch in the house. Thanks for stopping in. Let's open this up here. So first thoughts on the overall cover. John, we'll start with you.
I mean, obviously it's a great Cyclops booty cover. Just shaking it at us. I like the simplicity of the white background with the red sort of cross that appears when Cyclops's ray blasts off of the shield. Mm-hmm. I of course, any cover with like mutants in disarray across the ground is a lot of fun. I don't quite get the logic of Wolverine's head there. It looks like he's just sort of floating above the ground. So that I find Wolverine a little distracting, but I like Colossus in the background, of course, Storm. And again, the white with the red and green. It's very Christmassy, this cover. I kind of dig the whole the color scheme.
Yep. Very true. Very true. Chet, what about you? What do you think?
It's a simple cover. Hard as hell to keep clean. But you knew I would say that. But it's very to the point. You got Archon dead center in the middle. Got Cyclops doing what he was doing pretty much in the whole book. Right. Got to relax himself, and if not, I'm not sure why they added an extra gladiator in the background. I just find him to be a distraction altogether. I thought if they were going to put anybody else on here, it would have been, I guess, Archon's land and his
Nightcrawler.
Or Nightcrawler, yeah. But in this case, I mean, this cover is just, for the most part, very average. But to me, but I like it simply because, like John said, the color scheme is on point, I guess, the whole Christmassy vibe. And one last thing, if you look at the top left where they usually have the Marvel Comics group and the group, Banshee's not there anymore, and that hurts.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, that's a demerit in my book. Banshee, you know, is the god.
Like a downgrade.
He's back on 125 though, so you know they rectified that pretty quick.
Okay, thank you, John. You just eased me, man.
They don't. They don't miss a beat.
Because I'm desperately looking forward to 125. It's such a good book.
Oh, absolutely. We got Aggressively Relaxing hanging out with us. What's going on? Thanks for stopping in. We also have Simon R, who just stopped by. Appreciate you guys swinging by here. See, Roy Kirk says Banshee was left behind in the story. Yeah. Also mentioned kind of a letdown after Cockrum and Byrne covers. I'm not. This cover doesn't necessarily wow me in any way, particularly. Like you said, I imagine it'd be harder to keep clean with that white background.
Absolutely.
But it's just fine for me. I mean, at least it like kind of fits the story a little bit. You know, I'm always looking for something like that. So, all right, so let's jump into some of the issues here. We first start off with this little bit here, guy who's getting papers, and I don't know where this lightning bolt comes down, and we get to meet this guy who, to me, again, had no idea who Archon was. Is it Archon? Is that
Archon? Correct.
All right. So. Yeah, this dude just shows up, and these poor people are just like, hush, don't say anything to him. Maybe he won't, leave us alone.
Well, like a Terminator who just like lands from the future right in the middle of your city street, right?
Pretty much.
But look at the art. I mean, he's perfect.
He's amazing.
My man looks like Conan the Barbarian 2.0.
Yeah,
it's true, I will say. I mean, I know this was way before the Watchmen, but seeing like this kind of era and like people talking around a newsstand, my head went to Alan Moore's Watchmen, and I was like thinking about how they're always going to the newsstand, and you're hearing the bickering of people in and around the newsstand. It was like, obviously about 8 to 10 years before Watchmen, but like it just reminded me of that a ton.
Yeah. Also, a little thing to note there: that red building at the top left that says Burns. I can't even read the other little bit to it, but it's
drafting equipment, so art supplies.
Equipment. Yeah, and that was a little.
There's even a little brush and palette on the wall there.
Yeah.
Do you notice the truck?
Hembeck deliveries.
Hembeck. There's something. There's a book, a Marvel book. I forget who wrote it, but it's. Damn, I should have done my research before I came on this one.
It says Fred Hembeck is what Lasso is saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's right. I knew that name was familiar, so they definitely used his name on that truck.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
He's an artist, and he did parody comics. Says Lasso. Lasso dropping the knowledge.
Yeah, for real.
And if you look at the when they're actually at the newsstand, Justin, where it gives the credits of Chris Claremont, George Perez
on the left.
I didn't realize this till now, but Ween is on here as a colorist. Is that our Ween?
That's G. Oh. It's not Len Ween, so I don't know who it is. Ween.
Okay, so it's not Len.
No.
Okay.
I'm curious who that is. Yeah,
I will say one thing George Perez always has done well is like there's some great line work. So obviously the explosion, like the lights and the clouds, are really, really strong there.
Yeah,
and in a little bit when we see like some of his flashback stuff, I dig the line work there too.
Yeah, agreed. A Fire in the Sky, as they title it. Who the freak is that? So let's dive in. So it kind of opens up with he's arriving arriving here on Earth and immediately wants to go look for the Avengers as he's dealing with this crisis, his people, and he kind of sums it up here as he's visiting the Avengers mansion that he's been here multiple times to Earth for other reasons. And we get Jarvis, who's looks like he just woke up. He's yawning to get the milk and paper, the good old days of getting milk and paper. And then, as he's reaching down, he has this boot on top of his paper. And I will
say Tony Stark's external scanners not working this day. He even says, check the external scanners. All's clear. There's a guy right on your doorstep. Come on, scanners, do your job.
Yeah, I was thinking like Jarvis must be a little more, better protected normally, I would imagine.
What's up, Sharon here? Life with 2 YouTubers.
Hey. What's up, Sharon? Thanks.
But I thought that was hilarious. He's like, check the scanners, open the door. Bad guy, crud. Darn it, scanners.
Hate when that happens.
Like within seconds.
So was this necessary that he had to, basically choke out Jarvis here? I thought that was a little over the top. This guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously like Chet said, this was connecting us to the fact that he's been with the Avengers before this, so they were trying to bridge that knowledge gap for fans who had read the issues before this, where Archon had come in. But yeah, this was definitely background information, letting us know the connection between the Avengers and Archon, how this is all working, and why he can't get the Avengers. And as was often common back in this era, the X-Men were like second tier Avengers for Marvel in a lot of ways. Like, sorry, the Avengers are busy right now. You should call the backup line and get whatever doctor they have available for you.
The backup line.
I hated it. It was always that way. And then the X-Men would show up and nobody would be like thankful that they were there. It'd be like, yeah, you guys are. Where's the Avengers though? Yeah, we're gonna get the Avengers. What's going on? Don't worry, TJ. I was off this week, so Justin was building the slideshow this week, so I didn't need it. It was all right. I would have let you know for sure, though. Sorry. He has his own Go Collect, so he's been running his show. But I will use the one you sent me for my show in a week. Yeah. I will say, if I was going to pick a panel, one of the ones I absolutely loved is on the very far corner there, where it looks like flame and fire inside of that little head there. It says the siren image in his head. He doesn't know the woman's name, but he take her to his world. It's clearly Storm, as the story tells us. But it was almost like Phoenix. Like it was really a cool way to do that. Yeah. Very subtle, very abstract. I wish it just had been huge. I wish it had sort of broken the page where he's like, I don't know what to do. And instead of having 4 panels talking to Jarvis, it was all of a sudden like, wham, he's struck by this vision of something that drives us forward. Because it's easily the best drawing on these 2 pages. Yeah, it's
interesting. I'm sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's interesting you bring up Phoenix, because it did cross my mind for a second as I'm reading this. Like, I'm thinking Storm, but like, I thought like, wait, is Phoenix in it? Like, is Gray in this somehow? Because it did look. I just see this, on fire face, and that's more of what I kind of thought of at first, anyways. Go ahead, Chet. What were you going to mention?
I was saying that I'm not sure if you guys realize it, but they've highlighted both Jean Grey and Storm almost in an equal fashion up until like the Phoenix Saga. So it's not like heavy favoritism on Jean, we get a full out, I guess what's the word, conjugation of who they are throughout every last book. So
yeah, they both get compared to like goddess levels power,
I think that really helps a lot. I mean, they're basically the only 2 women in the team. So, I mean, we get as much, story and, everything about them as we do with the guys. So I think they did that quite well, no matter who's doing the art and obviously Chris Claremont equaled it out quite well.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll, and so from here, we jump right into the Danger Room. This is where a lot of excitement was going on. I like that, we just dive right into this scene. the entire team is taking on this big green, giant robot as they're being tested, as usual. But there's some things that go wrong, as you guys can see. As I was trying to fit, it's so hard to fit a lot of these panels in one slide here. Obviously, this scene was like a long scene, but I like it. You see, this was like the what do they call it? Like
spread page.
Spread. I always can't think of the word spread.
Yeah, right through the center of the top of this issue. It's a really fun panel design, very different than what Byrne has been doing. Mm-hmm. The layout was very original, and I did appreciate that one for sure.
Yeah, look at Colossus. I mean, he's sparkly.
He looks cool.
I dig the way George Perez did him up.
Yep.
Wolverine looks a little sloppy to me in this one, but I just don't look at him. I'm focused on Colossus and just the action. Nightcrawler looks fantastic, swinging down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to say it a bunch. Line work. You look at all across, there's so much great line work on the floor, the smoke. In Storm's cape even has line work going on in it.
Yeah.
And digging it. I always really have appreciated his attention to detail.
Yeah. George Perez is I guess I don't know if it's a word, but a perspectivist.
Yep.
Yeah, he has strong view.
On point.
Yeah.
What's up, Eric?
And my favorite Colossus is the bottom right corner where he's crouched.
Yeah,
I really love. You can see the physicality of that pose. It's really well drawn. That's a really hard perspective to catch.
Almost like a Spidey pose.
Exactly. Yeah. I was just going there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But look at Cyclops even. Look at his pose. I mean,
I don't know what he's doing. He's got a little captain in him.
Yeah. Captain Morgan lifting the knee there.
Well, the boots don't help. They're pirate. He's got his dad's pirate boots. What's Azores is here and Off-World Adam. How's it going, guys? Azores, I left you a message. Let me know if of the upcoming episodes, if any of those work for you, my man, and we will book you.
Yes. May the 4th be with you as well.
Oh God, let's get back to X-Men.
So I also like we see Banshee chilling up top. He's not can't participate in the action stuff since we know that he's lost his powers from issues back. But he's there smoking his pipe,
going full sailor with the turtleneck and the pipe. He just looks like a sailor man.
It's almost like that green turtleneck that they all wore when they were on the ship.
He's remembering back to the uniforms when they all were in uniform together.
He's like, why did the crew get rid of their?
He's taking us back to Japan.
Yeah. Those beautiful green turtlenecks. How did they get rid of them? I kept mine. It turned yellow, but
what's up, Chamorro Station, brother?
Oh, we got Chamorro in the house on your left, brother. Good to see you.
Now, line work again. These pages are nuts. Now, of course, I'm a fan of any really good use of Storm, and you look at her with the rainwater pouring down and the wind blowing her up, and then you look at the explosion with the lightning.
Oh yeah,
the detail work on these pages is nuts.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this for a long time with you guys. And I mean, this is one of the highlights of this book for me. Like just the whole lunacy of the danger room with all of them trapped. And it's just a pretty thing. And like you said, with the line work, John, I mean, how awesome is that Storm panel?
Oh my God. With the explosive energy and
absolutely ridiculous.
And oh my God. So cool.
Yeah, so she is basically trapped in this wind funnel that's two fans going top and bottom of her where she just can't escape this. Meanwhile, as you can see, Wolverine there is starting to get tied down as well. They're all starting to struggle. And that's where you see on the right-hand side is where this piece of metal here, goes flying and ends up crashing through where Banshee was and hits a couple switches that make the whole thing glitch out. And they basically have to survive in the danger room.
Now, I will say, I love the concept of an out of control danger room and how do you deal with it. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and the Next Generation definitely had their episodes dealing with the holodeck and all of those kinds of things. I just was frustrated with the rationale here. I would rather have had her electricity cause an electrical problem. The fact that this room is so shoddily built. This room is designed to have Colossus smash everything, and it has the weakest piece of glass protecting the control room that I've ever heard of. It just is shattered. That glass shatters so way too easily for a room that's called the Danger Room.
Yeah.
And then when you look at that panel where they're all just like, fight for your lives.
Right, exactly.
It's living up to its name.
Absolutely. Rod is here. What is up, Rod?
What is going on, Rod? Just a Rican in his comics. Thanks for stopping in.
So that was the only thing that irked me was how we got to the problem. I love the problem, and I love how they deal with it, and I love Storm having her issue. I just wish it had been she blasts all this electrical energy, and it overloads the system, and we get this problem. I would have liked that more. A random shard of whatever breaking that security glass and then somehow shorting out the system. I was a little. I just giggle at that idea a little too much.
I mean, at least Banshee got a haircut. So
yeah, I mean, hey,
close to having a new neck.
Yeah, got rid of that pipe too. Bad
I want to point out here. I know we talk about this from time to time, especially with Chet on. I feel like anytime I point this out, Chet is our guest. But just talking about the visor again at the bottom there for Cyclops. I love that how that's drawn. And that, and again, that's usually we're talking about it because it's Byrne and how Byrne does it. But here, Perez
again that line work. Because I mean, there's all those fun little lines going up and down on the front of the visor, just in the details. I love it.
I think this book was, I mean, in terms of that visor and the lines, I think George Perez was the reason I enjoyed this. I mean, Cyclops' visor later on, because I don't think Byrne used a lot of line work.
No, it was always very shiny and glassy.
The way George Perez uses it, it's quite attractive, and it makes you want to see it again. So,
yep, absolutely. So we'll shuffle through here, and I'll try to keep things at a decent pace because there was an extra slider too because this is a little more lengthier in pages. Yep. So I'll keep an eye on time and stuff here. But so we get a cool little scene. I like this kind of a reverse. Or as I put a fastball changeup, as Colossus here throws the robot at Wolverine instead of the other way around. So I thought that was cool, just a little something to point out.
No, they even mentioned it. He's like, I think doesn't he say to Wolverine, a variation on our fastball special.
Yep.
And I think he said that in Russian. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, exactly that. And then of course, right
my
after
favorite drawing of Wolverine too, when he's like just flexing out and just like clearly just destroyed that thing. That's one of the best Byrne Wolverine drawings in the book.
It's a great pose. Yep. Colossus then gets like flung, not flang, not like the word we were using in the truck, flang, but he gets flung by this metal trap door that pops up. And so we have a lot of action going on. I think that was a big thing that really got me hooked on this. Obviously anytime that the X-Men are dealing with a lot of action, I'm always into that.
Sure.
So we get a little highlight here for Cyclops and shout out to John. Brandon's not here, so you don't have to combat anybody really. But he kind of pulls it out when he's running through everything, and obviously a lot of different things going on, explosions and whatnot. But he finally gets towards the door of they're trying to reach to this one panel that he can turn off the danger room with, and luckily he hits the one shot that he needs. And that calms everything down, turns off the danger room altogether. And you can see Colossus just sitting there wondering what's going on.
Did you notice the panel where Colossus is getting struck back down and they have Cyclops in like panic mode? Everybody scatter, he's coming this way,
It's that previous Cyclops is in the little circle with
bright red. Oh yeah,
that's like
X-Men scatter.
Yep.
I absolutely love this entire danger room scene. I know it's not perfect, but some of the stuff that happens in here is memorable. Look at the explosion behind Cyclops after Colossus hits.
Yeah.
That's like, and Wolverine's like, yeah, baby. This is
Wolverine's just doing
Bring it on.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing to point out, too, is that the entire time, like, Wolverine was loving the entire thing. Yes. Everybody else was like, man, that was close. We could have died. And he's like, finally, I get to, like, let loose a little. Like, he was loving it, man.
Yes. He says that it figures we're all about to be pulverized, and Wolverine's having the time of his life.
Oh goodness. So so Cyke saves the day. We'll give him that.
Yep.
Brandon's not here to say anything. So so that's really, that kind of sums up that first action sequence. And then afterwards, Cyclops wants to talk to Storm because she kind of froze up there, and overall this kind of heart to heart that they're having is Storm kind of pointing out that she starts questioning like the idea of having a normal life to some degree? Have you thought about, she was talking about how she was happy in Kenya where she was helping her powers do good, but here now she just feels like, she's kind of bringing the house down in a sense. But so we get Cyclops kind of trying to step up and be that leader and give her a pep talk. But she's clearly bothered by a lot of things, and that's kind of leads into, her going back up to her plants. But that doesn't last too long. As we see Archon, our buddy Archon finally comes in, and of course,
and he's got his go-to move, which is, I'm just going to grab you. I'm going to grab you at the throat, and I'm just going to tell you what you're doing for me now.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's got a lot of friends. I'm just saying.
Yeah, pretty
much skill set.
By the way, this is the second issue in a row where Storm is choked by the neck. It's not right.
It's her Wonder Woman bondage cover thing.
Yeah, there you go.
It's choke Storm.
One second. You keep talking.
And didn't that happen in the Savage Lands too? Somebody like snuck up behind her and grabbed her, or somebody down by the water picked
Sauron.
Sauron, yeah. There you go. Tried to take her power away. That's what it was.
Yep.
And both the cases here and Sauron doesn't work out so well. You can't try to just choke out a goddess. It's not going to work. It's not going to work for you.
No.
So.
Yeah, no, bad idea. And then of course they go flying through the floor here.
Yep.
While Cyclops and Banshee are trying to have a conversation, and he comes crashing into the party. So the action is just kind of nonstop. Like we get that little break, but it jumps right back into some really wild stuff. And these are some of my favorite panels here. As we go into the next one, he goes flying out the window on that left side panel there, a big splash. And at first, Colossus has no idea like what's going on. So he's like, "Oh, comrade, here, I'll help you." Like he just thinks this person just went flying, and his first thought is, let me help this guy out of the pool. But immediately Cyclops is like, no, like you need to go into full form here and watch out because this is our enemy. So it's cool that you see that little panel in the middle there where Colossus is kind of a quick transformation. Also, just another good demonstration of his ability and his power to be able to just immediately turn metal, within seconds. So I thought that was pretty cool. He does get a good backhand though by Archon, as you can see there.
Check out the panel before he hits Archon. That's a ridiculous calf muscle.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Solid steel.
Leg day forever in Russia.
And great perspectives again. I know Chet mentioned it early on, but the look down on the pool and the mansion on the left, as well as that behind the calf muscle shot. I think there's some fun perspectives going on here.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you notice down while Archon's in the pool with his back turned, where Cyclops and Colossus are, you can see more perspective. It's like an up angle because he's down.
Yeah.
So
or on the giant page next to it where you see like this, they've got the Dutch tilt going because the mansion is sliding sideways through that shot. The Storm is level. She's the only one level.
Absolutely.
Everybody else is on a tilt. It's kind of fun.
That's a good point.
Nice.
That's a good point. So from here they all kind of figure it out. I like that Colossus does get a good shot in there, as you can see that pose down at the bottom, a big wham as he goes flying back to that tree, and we do see that tree again later. The X-Men, so everybody's now in costume, ready to take action again. This guy this was a red lightning bolt. Is that what that was that he threw at him? Oh yeah, he's reaching for it there.
He's using red and black lightning bolts primarily.
Okay, because I know they each have, and they explain a little bit. They all have different abilities, right? They all do something a little different here.
Oh, so okay, yeah.
Yeah, so there are those three different colors, and they do touch on that later. And then, of course, this is like the big one where he gets this yellow lightning bolt, and he manages to hit Storm with it out of all this ruckus, and Storm just evaporates. She just disappears. And man, I like seeing the team, the way they react here. They like freak out, and as you can see, Nightcrawler screaming murder and just like going off. And then same with Colossus. This is where
Colossus's face, man.
Yeah, and he gets that tree. Like the trunk is just like I know I mentioned it earlier. We get to see that tree again. But there's some really cool scenes in this. I mean, this whole right hand side is just insane. And then like the drop kick that he gives to Wolverine, or Wolverine, he's like knocked out for a little bit. Kind of surprised about that. Yeah, what were your thoughts on some of these action sequences?
John?
I mean, just a whole lot of fun. Absolutely, it's way exciting, over the top. But my inner brain is always like, Archon, just talk, man.
Right.
Use your freaking word. It's the elementary school teacher in me. Use your words, buddy.
Yeah.
Use your word. Just say, hey, I need help. Just say, hey, guys, I got a problem.
Yeah.
Instead, he's like, I will vanquish you all. And that's a horrible plan. You're going to kill them all. Then you got nobody to help you with your problem. Like, what are you doing? Archon.
Not his people skills. He's got to work on that.
Yeah. He's got first grade problem solving skills.
I think we've seen that before, though. Didn't Vindicator do the same thing? Just show up and just start throwing stuff, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna attack you, and I don't care what you say. I'm gonna say this, that, and the other thing. Oops, I'm in over my head. I better leave.
Pretty much.
So, this is a great action sequence, though, and I like the way it starts off with the kick from Nightcrawler, and then the punch, and then Colossus just flicking his wrist and throwing him apart or across the mansion. So, and then obviously
I struggle with on this big splash page or whatever splash panel right there.
This here,
Colossus's pose. I can't put my finger on like how is he doing this and swing? Like how did he end up in that position with this swing that
John needs a little bit of a lesson on movement. So he's starting off, I think, like facing towards like where Banshee and Cyclops are. When he picks up the thing, he turns completely around, and Archon's in back of him. So that's why you're getting that motion going that direction. So it's like over.
Which like worries me, because if that's what he did, you realize he wouldn't have seen Archon when he's swinging. The tree would have been blocking his view as he's swinging this thing.
Well, take a look at where Banshee is in the panel. I'm sorry, Justin. If you look at where he picks up the tree, picks up the tree before he kicks Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The tree is like to the side. So you can see he probably does a full 360 to hit him with that.
He does.
Yeah, no,
it's an impressive move.
You're right, though. He technically, I mean, but I also think just part of that anger, it was almost like I don't care, like he's just swinging, you know.
Yeah,
but I do think his vision might have, technically been blocked at that point. I like Wolverine on the floor. It's not even an exclamation point; it's just a period. And it says, "Jeez."
It's like, what's going on here? I just woke up.
It's very calm. Jeez.
Every time he wakes up, something happens. The first time he woke up in that Vindicator was gone.
Yeah.
And now he's waking up here and Archon is getting smashed.
Yep. And then this is kind of, we hear some of the story here. They basically explain as they're, Cyclops here is trying to calm Colossus down. Archon is like on the floor, basically knocked out. He does wake up.
He's drooling a little. I love it.
Yeah. I like Wolverine is just hanging over the top of him with his blades out, ready to cut him up. And they basically explain these different abilities of the bolts that they remember them. Cyclops remembers them from a previous time. And so as you can see at the bottom right hand, he's basically taken the collection of them and he's going to use them. And they're going to go find out where Storm is because they're realizing Storm's not dead. She has just traveled somewhere else. And I think that's where so we get into this awesome battle scene here.
Part 3.
The part 3, Dawn of Death. Land of Shadow, Dawn of Death. Yeah. So they get right into the center of everything. And this kind of brought me back to the Savage Land stuff, like just that kind of Coliseum. I mean, it's a lot smaller, but, just like being in the center of this crowd of people. Yeah. And then the panel, the middle long panel on the right, it kind of just reminds me of like, I feel like Where's Waldo should be in there somewhere. Those I Spy books where you're just like, you have to find all those little, topics or little items. I feel like that's what this is right now. It's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Perez on overload now. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this stuff was really cool. Again, with the action, it's just kind of nonstop. The bottom right-hand corner, you do get a little hint of, this old guy who's moving along, trying to get done with whatever their goal is at this time. But you see Nightcrawler. That's a cool little shot at the bottom right-hand corner there.
Definitely.
Yep.
Getting his
the
tail
thing
there.
We've been touching on with him in the darkness and his powers and how they work. I mean, we've seen it a lot more lately. And I mean, obviously, this doesn't come close to what we saw in that last issue you guys did. with the electronic panel and him being just totally tangible.
Yeah.
Or intangible, excuse me, to his background. But this is another good example of the way his power works, and I love it.
Yep.
Definitely.
Agreed. And then that kind of sends us right into the way they kind of get out of this mess while there's all these, people battling, trying to take them all out. Cyclops recognizes this statue or section that he can blast to, or a column really, and takes out this whole piece of the wall that collapses, and that kind of buys them all some time. It really does take out a majority of them. So that was a big thing. And one other thing I want to highlight here with this, what I pointed out, his optic blast is draining. And he highlights that. He's like, I don't know how much more I have if I, he's like, I barely pulled off that stunt. He said, the rate that I've been using my optic blast, it won't be long before they'll be so weak I won't be able to hurt a fly.
Which I don't remember ever hearing before this, but that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think this is where they basically establish that sunlight is the source back in the Bronze Age for Cyclops. I think this might have been. I know I've read it several other places before that his power is driven by solar energy.
Huh.
So if I'm not sure which issues, but you're gonna have me searching tonight after this.
Yeah, no, it was. I just thought that was interesting because even for me reading this, I didn't really consider that or that was a thing that he could just be weaker and drain out his optic blast. But anyways, I wanted to highlight that. Right hand side here is just this old man who's on this cool creature as he's climbing up the mountain, thinks that he's all alone, but of course we see more of Nightcrawler here, his eyes again glowing in that shadow, that bottom right hand corner, and he's following him up the mountain. And then this is what they discover, this is what they come across, and it just seems like, I know we talked about some stuff last episode, but they're dressing Storm up in a lot of different things. This is a really cool, setup that
it's nice that they had a tailored outfit ready for her when she transported over here. Yep. So they had. I mean, I'm trying to understand time wise, right? He gets blast, she goes away. They had time to talk her into this crazy plan, which apparently Archon couldn't do beforehand.
Right. And
dress her in a full out, like completely change her wardrobe and move her up the hill to this other location. They really used their time well. It's like building the dimensional gateway on top of the apartment building there.
In 10 minutes. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Do you guys remember the X-Men, the animated series, when they did this particular
episode?
Oh, no.
I don't remember that one.
It's a little bit of a change up, but they did.
Oh, I want to watch it.
Yes, I'm gonna send. I gotta find it now.
It's all on Disney Plus, right?
It's all Disney Plus. Yeah, you can totally watch it there.
Oh, I have it on Disney Plus, and I have it on computer, and I have it on phone and iPads. I'll definitely be able to find out what episode it is. I think it was during the last season.
Okay,
and it's actually pretty funny. Wolverine makes it a pretty funny thing, and without Colossus, it felt a little different. But they definitely changed Archon's demeanor to be that much more of a villain type. Right. So yeah, so
instead of Conan the Asgardian that we have here,
basically.
I mean, that's what he seems like to me. Conan. I the whole time I'm like, that's Conan the Asgardian.
We got Entropy in the house. Welcome. We also have Magic Lasso with a classic question: what vaccine does Akron or Archon's Empyreon get? A visor. There you go.
A vizier. Yeah.
Vizier is the guy on the horse. Is that a horse?
Exactly. The guy who looks like the the villain from Flash Gordon.
Oh my goodness. I like this panel on the right where she backhands Nightcrawler, but immediately recognizes, and says, "Oh no, like didn't mean to hit him."
Yep.
So because immediately you're just like, okay, she's entranced into some, some mind game or something, but she does recognize Nightcrawler right away. So that kind of made
I love that he also goes and gets her costume for her. He's like, she doesn't want to stay in that thing because come on, who would? And he goes and like finds her outfit and goes and gets it for her because it's right there behind her. He's like, I'm gonna grab that. She's gonna want this.
Yep. Covers her face with it, trying to snap her out of it. Doesn't quite work. What kind of this has got to be my favorite panel here is I had no idea that Colossus ever rode on a dragon before in any writings or any books before. So this was this was epic.
What is up? 3 men in a basement. Hello.
Oh, we got my man Otto in the house. He's somebody we need to get on this show at some point too. Otto, he is a diehard Claremont fan. He was another one I was chatting up with when I was reading this initially going through. So nice. Yeah, Otto, thanks for stopping in, man. But yeah, so what do you guys think of this ridiculous dragon and Colossus just coming in out of nowhere saving the day?
It's Peter Rasputin from Mars.
He says he was attacked. So he merely borrowed the beast from their commander. I mean, that sounds like a good move for Colossus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally reminds me of like a John Carter from Mars movie.
Colossus long.
Yeah.
I just like how at the end they're like, oh, there's the lightning bolt. We have to get over there. He's like, all we need to do is get there now. And then you just see this bubble that says, consider it done, little comrade. Yep. And then the next page is this big panel here. And the sound spang. Spang is the sound that you're hearing for Colossus. Anyways, This was a great panel. I definitely enjoyed this. As I have here, sign me up anytime. I'll take that. This was just Archon kind of explaining the details of the history of, why he's here now, what their planet is facing. The rings are out.
Doing everything he should have done on page 1.
I was just gonna say.
He actually stops for a moment and says, "Hey, let me explain what's actually going on." Clearly, there's been a little misunderstanding on your part.
John makes it sound like he should have knocked on the door. They're like, "Hey, can we have some tea? I got to tell you guys something."
I have had the worst day.
Exactly. But in the end, you're completely right. I mean, we avoid rationale altogether for war. And then we get the rationale at the end when it means something. So,
well, yeah, it's a Three's Company kind of problem. It's just misunderstanding.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we get so he basically explains that these rings around their planet that is providing light, they are out and they need someone's power, someone like Storm, who can kind of help relight this. So that's kind of the scenario that they're in. As he explains this, I do like that there's a little bit, you see a little Thor artwork there, the Avengers there at the bottom right-hand corner, which is cool. Yeah. So this is, and I know, John, you mentioned this a little bit, this ability where Storm's pulling in all this, this power, and Colossus is being the ground. They kind of explain some of that, but that she essentially, Storm essentially transfers this ability over to Cyclops, which you can see at the top right-hand corner. And he's like taking it all in before he's gonna turn it around and shoot it out.
Yeah, for me, this was like very eye-opening and a little bit confusing, and I've never fully seen Cyclops' power used in this way. It reminds me of issues of Superman when he's feeling drained and he needs the energy of the sun to recharge him. Mm-hmm. And the difference being, I look at somebody zapping Superman and I think, well, yeah, he'll take that hit. And I look at Cyclops, I'm like, he has no like invulnerability. He doesn't have like super skin. Like, how is he taking this energy and not just completely melting?
Right. That's a good point. Chet, do you have any
well, if you think about it, yeah, I do. Think about it. When Cyclops and his brother are always fighting, they seem to be able to absorb each other's energy. And Havoc is completely solar. So I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched that he could be absorbing lightning. Right. I mean, he still has his mutant energy, and at some point he has to expel his mutant energy to use his power. So that's my explanation. I never wrote the book or anything, but damn well I'm going to protect it.
I thought you were the editor. I thought you were the editor, Chet.
But you already know. I mean. We know his power is, it's energy. If he's depleted himself and he's absorbing her power, I guess he can absorb just enough to get off a thick enough blast to help. So I'm not sure I'm right, but for the most part, that's what my
It's an interesting theory. And I do remember issues of Havoc fighting versus Cyclops and seeing how their energies don't necessarily have the same effect on one another that they do on other people. Yeah.
I do love that Storm panel. Stunning art there.
Absolutely, yeah. George Perez really did a bang up job on this book.
You get Colossus doing the lift too, you know.
I think there's one point you can see Colossus's feet like melting into the ground.
Oh yes, right there. Yeah, next to it. Yeah, that's how much energy and power that was going into it.
He's melting right through.
Yeah, John, that was from his cheerleader days. He was he learned how to do that. So let's see. So everything essentially comes back and works as Cyclops, fires this beam at this particular target that needed to be hit. And all is well. You can kind of see these rings come back at the bottom left-hand corner. I thought that was a cool, set of artwork. I always like these universe type, pieces of art that we've been reading in these last couple of X-Men issues. And even though it's not burned, it still looks really cool.
Again, I love the line work of George Perez. It's what always drew me to Teen Titans kind of art style that he has. And hello, Hondalorian, new to the channel, and this is our weekly Omni X-Men show. Justin and I do. So thank you for joining us, man.
Welcome aboard.
And so when you look at it's hard to replicate the Cockrum Byrne Cosmos style, which is definitely my flavor of X-Men in general. I love the cosmic X-Men. Yes. This is top notch for sure. And the sparkle, almost that Kirby crackle that's coming off of the planet. I dig it.
Heck yeah, absolutely. And then on the right, you basically see the aftermath here, right? Everybody's like demolished, and it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty gruesome. I mean, that people are essentially, you're thinking everybody's dead here. Luckily, Archon here wakes up, peeks his eyes open, and his the other guy there saying, "Archon, you live." He goes, "So my aches tell me." So that is kind of like all is well, right? Everything comes back, and then we kind of get this happy ending scene, kind of the G.I. Joe, like,
oh my gosh, totally,
right?
You sure you don't want to conquer a universe?
He's like, are you like? He's like, we could do wonders together, like, and he's naming all these different details that we could do.
And Cyclops' reply is, "Sorry, Archon, but conquest really isn't in the X-Men's line of work."
Yo, not for nothing though. Look at their uniforms after they clean up. I like them.
Oh yeah, they all they're because they skipped the party stuff, but they said they basically
partied. No revels. Yeah. Storm says, "I don't know, Scott. Wouldn't you like to be the first barbarian to wear horn-rimmed glasses?"
Right.
Sense of humor. We don't get her sense of humor very often.
No.
But you look at their costumes. It's really tiny in the panel, but it's the one right here next to us. You see Wolverine's wearing the spandex tighty whities there. He's got the high boots all the way to mid-thigh.
I will say this. For George Perez and John Byrne, literally nail every Storm drawing facially they do, because that third panel before it ends, I mean, she looks spectacular.
Yeah. And again, playful face to go with the silly comedy, the joke that she's having, which again, I think she has a good sense of humor. It's nice to have it played out a little bit.
Absolutely. Yep.
I like her hair too.
Yeah.
Yes. Always on point. Come on, Storm.
I really mean it here too, because I know
she doesn't get like frizzy, humid hair. She controls the weather right around her hair at all times.
No bad hair day, Storm.
Right?
No.
Never.
The only thing I wish for in the left hand panel there is that I wish Colossus was on that green dragon again. That would have been like if they're like, "Come on, Colossus, we gotta go," and he's just like, "Hold on, little comrade." That'd be great. So that's kind of how the issue ends here. I like that it kind of just is finished with them slamming the lightning bolts to go back to their own, their own time, their own place. And you get the finish sign at the bottom right hand corner there. So yeah, it was definitely like a little mini movie, I think. This annual 3. I really did enjoy everything here.
I don't know if you noticed this, Justin, but most of the ads in this thing, well, not most of them, but there's this one page with these ads, and I saw it and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Of all days, why would they do this to me? Why?"
Star Wars.
Right in the middle of the book.
Curses.
All Star Wars, bro. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" All that stuff in this picture must be worth today.
So funny.
Kind of timely for today. So here are some of the facts. We'll dive into the numbers first here. So 9/8 go for 120. Last sold in April, and I will say there's someone on eBay right now that's selling it for way too much. It's like almost $300 on eBay. Not that it sold for that, but they have it set at that.
Money grabbers.
I did put an offer out for 120, but they quickly denied me. But I wouldn't mind having this just because I really enjoyed this. I'll have to get the issue, even if it's not, doesn't have to be 9/8, but I would like to own this issue. But then the drop here, so 120 already, that's pretty cheap, at least for the, since April. And then 9/6 goes for 75 back in February. So,
wow.
These are
very affordable.
Yeah, totally. Very affordable.
Again, I think it's the curse of annuals in general, always sort of woefully unappreciated. It's a shock that Avengers Annual 10 is finally becoming a book that people recognize as having importance. I still think it's an ugly cover, but
I'm right with you, bro. That cover is absolutely hideous.
I really wish we could have gotten Ms. Marvel 25.
Yeah,
would have been the moment, to have her first appearance, if only.
Absolutely, bro.
And it belonged so well with all the Mystique appearances that had led up to it. So, but you can't go back and fix that.
Nope, you cannot. But hey, these are reasonable prices here, and I know we've been showing books where it's like at least three times what a 9/6 is going for, the 9/8, but this is like very different, right? Overall, 9/4 70, and then it drops to $46 for a 9/2 that was back in September. But anyways, I think that'd be a cool thing to own. It says 9.8s. There's 107 out there, 125 of the 9.6s, and then it drops down 74 of the 9.4s, only 42 of the 9.2s. So, 100's not that many. I feel like that's a kind of a lower number compared to some of the
absolutely low,
especially with the white covers.
No, yeah.
Now there are
look how few have been slabbed too. It's not the amounts are super low too.
Yeah, right. Now there aren't any major keys about this. I did put Archon appearance is what CGC puts on their slab. I did add some of these other facts here. We talked about the newspaper vendor in the beginning. Byrne's drafting equipment named after John Byrne. I said although not depicted in the story, Archon endows the X-Men with a supply of lightning bolts in order to return to his world should the need arise, which they do need an X-Men Annual 5, which we'll at some point get to. The X-Men also make use of the bolts to travel to Asgard in X-Men Annual 9.
I had forgotten all that detail, so that's amazing. You found that was great.
Yeah. So these are definitely.
I remember it, but it's vague.
Yeah.
X-Men Annual 9 is a good one too, by the way.
Oh, is 9 the one with Storm? The homage to Thor?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so shout out to Azor's Tiger because he actually sent me that as an AOK last month
cover,
and it was a really nice copy too, really high.
And it's a really good read.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to Eric. Thank you.
Really good read. I need feedback after you read that.
Okay.
There's only a few X-Men annuals I've actually read, and that's definitely one of the best.
Okay.
Have you read Annual 4?
Which I don't know that I remember which one it is. Let me look at the cover.
Doctor Strange?
No, I don't think I did.
I haven't read it, but I know I've seen the cover. Or I only saw the cover.
You can pencil me in for that one when we get to it.
Okay.
Boom, there you go.
Nice.
Ooh, great cover.
It's an excellent read too. It's
all right.
It's going to answer some questions you had recently as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. So there you have it, guys. This is kind of wraps up the Annual 3. I was trying to, keep us on pace here. I know it's a little over an hour at the moment. We got some questions still coming our way, so don't leave anybody. Stick around for the questions we're about to get into. Any last thoughts here, guys, before we kind of wrap this up?
No, I mean, I think we covered everything. I'm perfectly happy with it. Chet, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I was growing up and reading these, this was like a good break in the action from 94 to 143, and just it wasn't lacking for action or anything like that. It kept in line with who they were and everything, so I appreciate it. I liked it a lot at that time too. I still enjoy it, but back then I liked it so much that I would just read it over and over. I I mean, that danger room scene where the robots got Colossus, I actually drew that picture as a kid. Yeah, I gave it to my mother. I think she still might have it. If I run across that, when I speak to her, I'll ask she still has it.
That'd be cool. That's cool, man.
When I started getting into art and everything, and that book actually, George Perez's art really like hit me, and I was like, between him and Byrne, it was just drawing. But yeah, I love the book. The action is there. I mean, the art is absolutely there, and it stays online with who these guys are. So
yeah, I think. Yeah, spot on. And I just like the overall flow of this whole entire book. It just keeps you going. The action really doesn't stop. You know, and it, like I said, it's like a little mini movie, the way that things kind of the chapters unfold. And you know, I like that they're traveling, which is cool, or, you know, outer space type stuff. So it's good to mix it up. All right, cool. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Let's get into the questions here, guys. Hanging out with us. We got 9 people hanging out with us still. So as I mentioned in the beginning, you guys will ask these questions. If you know the answer, they're based on last episode and last issue, which in this case is issue 124 that we'll be asking the questions about. And this was over on John's channel. So yeah, if you know the answer, type in the chat right away. If you are the first, you will get your name added to my raffle, where you could win the volume 2 of the Claremont X-Men that we have. And then also you get 2 points in John's raffle. So a good opportunity there. But also, if you are second, make sure you still get 1 point in John's raffle as well. So if you see someone else beat you to it, I highly recommend copy and paste that answer. You still get something. And then we're also looking for some jokes. So if anybody has a funny answer to any of these questions, you also can get 1 point for John's raffle as well. So with that being said, let's jump into it. I guess, John, I'll start off since mine kind of ties in with something.
Yeah. You go first.
Okay. So my first question here is, what was the name of Colossus while he was brainwashed last episode?
Yeah, fighting in Murder World, he had a code name.
Yeah, he even introduced himself as it when they first were like, "Hey, it's Colossus."
Twice, yeah.
Yeah. So you definitely get to see his name. So what was his name there?
Don't talk.
Yo.
Oh, you dare.
What? Oh, you almost said it. Chet, come on, Chet.
Oil Can Boyd.
Just mute him.
Yeah. Let's see. I see a couple answers. Yeah, there we go. The Proletarian. We got Magic Lasso coming in first place.
And if you got a funny answer, throw it out. We give you a point for being the funniest as well. So if you got something funny to say about what would we call him?
Yeah, we do like sarcasm too. Oh, there you go. The Dragon Slayer. I like.
No, he's the Dragon Rider. Didn't you just watch this episode?
Oh yeah, he's not a Slayer, a Rider. Yeah, no ties to the dragons. So Jackson Roy Kirk was the second one, right? You got that down?
Yep,
John?
I got Jackson Roy Kirk. Yep, for sure.
Okay, cool.
The Supreme Colossus. They sell that at Taco Bell, right? The Supreme Colossus.
Taco Bell.
It's all right. I wasn't grading your spelling, Jackson Roy Kirk. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The Vanquisher.
Only I get judged on spelling.
Definitely. Always you. Only you. Chet with 2 T's.
Oh, Muffy.
Great, right? Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Azores, I'm giving you the Vanquisher, so you got that one.
Nice.
And my first question is, if you watched last week's episode, the Supreme Colossus, there you go. Also very funny. I was making jokes about Colossus's outfit, and I said the team needs one tool, one weapon to fight Colossus. What weapon did they need to battle the Proletarian? That was a joke I made, and I mentioned it in the slideshow. See if anybody remembers. What weapon did I say would have been a valuable tool to defeat the Proletarian?
Yeah, this was a good one.
I don't know if anybody's gonna. My questions are really hard this week. Both of mine.
I can't remember that.
Yeah. So you had to catch that, and it was in the, or you.
I was dropping gifs extraordinaire on his. I think his Proletarian costume is hilarious.
Yeah,
I think now I remember. I gotta wait for the answers to be sure.
It was not a wrench. No, it was not a wrench. Good guesses.
I like seeing some of the copy.
My hint is I kind of felt like the Proletarian had a video game vibe, and there's a weapon that is often used to destroy the character in that video game.
That's a good hint there. It was a good gift. It was a good gift. Your gift game was on point, John.
I was having a little bit of fun. All right, the video game is Mario related. Yes, so it's an item from Super Mario because I think the Proletarian has definitely a Mario quality. They needed somebody else in the green version, right? To be the Luigi.
Never played it.
Yeah. What else is thrown?
Never played it. This is a good one. Then I picked a really good one.
Yeah. Oh,
there it is. Somebody needs to copy and paste because somebody. I was excited. Somebody got it.
Somebody got it.
No, yeah, it's the turtle shell. It's the turtle shell. So
that's what I was going to say, but I can't say nothing.
So Azores gets the 2 points on my scoreboard. He also gets a raffle entry into winning the omnibus. Nice. And then we got Magic Lasso with the copy and paste getting one more. And let me see if there was a funny answer that I didn't. A whip, says Azores. That's pretty funny. Stars. Hey, yeah, anything you can use. Anything you can use to stop Mario, right? If you want to ask your question, I'll keep an eye out for a comedy answer, and you can do yours.
All right. So my second question here, looking for two character names here. Which two characters did we see when Wolverine pulled back the wall? Him and Banshee were looking to escape, and he ripped back this wall, and there were two characters in the room next door. Who were these two characters that Wolverine saw? Remember his face where Wolverine's like he had this like shocked face as he's like pulling these back. Boom. There you go. That was quick.
Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson.
There you go.
I just want to confirm, John, that is Roy Kirk first, right?
Yes, sir. And then Lasso second.
Cool.
Roy Kirk putting on a show tonight. He's putting on a show.
It's a little bit of a mix. This is good.
Yeah, shaking it up a little bit.
Getting their name on there.
I'm gonna actually just give Chet the comedy points for that one. So
you were holding that one.
Here.
Comedy points are allowed.
Chet was planning that since the second we talked about it before the show. He had that ready to
go. Right? Copy paste. Go.
Yeah. He's like, this is my joke one. All right, John, what's your last question?
My last question is probably the hardest one of the night. And it has to do with obviously the X-Men fighting their way out of Murder World last issue. But my question is, Arcade had 3 young ladies hostage. What were their names? What were the names of the 3 young ladies that he had taken hostage? Because I put them in the slideshow and I mentioned their names because it's ridiculous that we really don't see any but one of them ever again. Because apparently, hey, Nightcrawler is worth another date even after that horrible disaster. Destiny's Child. Azor was with a comedy point.
How about Density's Children?
Density's Children. Holy cow! People know the answer, and of course, it's Jackson Roy Kirk with the 2 points. Boy, I'm going to struggle erasing on this page much longer. I'm glad we're nearing the end. And 1 point for the Magic Lasso. Yes, Amanda, Betsy, and Colleen. There's no way you guys should know that. There's just what useful piece of math did you forget from high school so that you now have those 3 names from that issue in your mind? Just think about that for a second.
Probably like names of former teachers.
No.
They sound
your third grade teacher lives forever.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. He goes, I always notice the ladies. There you go.
Especially when they're wrapped in pink bows with their heads sticking out of the package.
They're floating from the sky. Oh my goodness. Guys, this was awesome. Really enjoyed going over this annual 3. And Chet, man, thanks so much for joining us as always. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Follow Chet on Instagram. I can't recommend it enough. You will see some books that will make your eyes pop out of your skull.
Yes.
I try.
Some wild stuff. Anything that you have, Chet, coming up in this next week or so? Any plans
I'm not certain, but I am part of the League of Collectors, a bunch of good group of guys that includes myself, Brandon, Cape Clown Comics, Pete, Hillbilly Comics. There's several of us. We're just a young group. We're starting it up, and it's going rather swimmingly. Obviously, everybody has to get over their humps and so forth. I'm a little shy about posting every time, and I have to be a little bit more committed to it. But other than that, that's the main gig right now. I'm looking forward to. I was on your show earlier watching you, and you were discussing the cons coming back and Terrificon coming up very soon. And I'm like, yeah, I that's got to be done.
Heck yeah, man.
I guess I'm more excited about the cons coming back. Obviously, concerts coming back. My boys in Seven Dust are touring again, and I'm just like, oh my God, therapy. So everything's starting to come back together again, which is one thing I'm thankful for, because the way it's been over the past year, we've all been literally in a shell trying to do this, and now we'll be able to get out again and hopefully bring back some normalcy. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's generally the main thing on my schedule is hitting cons and I guess finishing some runs.
Absolutely, man. It'll be cool to meet up, man.
I mean, that'll be part of the plan also.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. A lot of people, a lot of faces. I think a lot of people have mentioned that they're going to be at this particular one. John, I know you're over on the West Coast, but it'll be nice, whenever eventually you can make it over here.
Yeah, I got a bunch of friends now in that New York area that I definitely want to meet at some point, and a ton of friends down in Florida. I was supposed to go to MegaCon last year, and of course that did not work out so well, but that is a plan at some point when finances and the health world make that possible for sure.
Absolutely.
Last was asking you, John, who do you like more, Betty White or Dean Cain?
He and I were in a chat earlier tonight, and there was someone pretending to be Dean Cain and somebody pretending to be Betty White, pretending to sell autographs to the chat. But come on, Betty White every day. Come on. Nobody picks anybody over Betty White for anything. It could be the quarterback for your football team. You pick Betty White. Because you'll have a laugh and have a good time.
Lamar, right, Justin?
What's that? Yeah. I just heard Lamar. I missed what you said about it.
I said unless the quarterback's name is Lamar, right, Justin?
Unless the quarterback's Lamar, yeah. Oh my goodness, John, what about you? What do you have coming up? I know you got some
tomorrow night's a big show on my channel. Alec Whitewell Comics and I, we're going to be looking back at the best books of April. We read a ton of comics, and we like to look at all the number ones, especially independent comics, and let you know what we thought were really good. So it used to be a weekly book club we did, but now with shipping the way it is with Diamond and everything, it's just been easier to do it as a once a month look at the whole set of books we've read. So we're going to count down some of the best books of the month, including I'm going to make sure we talk about Way of X, which was a phenomenal book. If you have not read it,
bro,
I have not read it yet.
And one of the best Hickman single issues from when Hickman took over to now, I think Way of X was great. And it sets up my boy Nightcrawler, great character.
It really is a good read, Justin. You need to read
man.
Honestly, since Claremont, I think it's the first time I really felt like somebody nailed his personality and really knew him.
Wow.
So it's a great issue. And we're going to talk about that, as well as great indie books, and probably maybe a DC book will pop in there. So that's tomorrow night on my channel at 9 Eastern. And then I've been doing the comic community news on my channel, a weekly edited video segment. If you guys have missed them, you should check them out. A lot of fun, a little bit of spec knowledge. We did a whole Rogue episode last week looking at those Ms. Marvel issues that we were just discussing, Chet and I. Looking at her keys and where they are, and some of those books you might not have heard of, like Rom Space Knight. Some really great issues in her key appearances that people overlook because they want to spend $1,200 on Avengers Annual 10. Instead, check out the video, see some cool stuff. And then I've got a new one dropping this week that's looking at what's happening on indie comics, because indie books are going nuts right now. Something's killing the children and all that stuff. And so I was breaking down some of the ones that are way overpriced and some of the ones that are not overpriced that might be ones you want to try reading. That's dropping on Thursday evening.
Okay. Nice. Very nice. Busy
question week? For John real quick.
Yeah.
Because I know you didn't get to it yet because you're slow sometimes. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Justin, I'm playing. But John, did you also happen to read X-Men Legends?
I did. Simonsons are back, man.
Hey, I read the first issue.
Yeah, I read the second issue last night.
The first two were Fabian Nicieza, which I always struggle with his name. But then these next two are the Louise Simonson, and it's fun because it's a throwback to the X Factor days that I read X Factor. So I enjoyed it nostalgia wise completely. It's not a phenomenal read, but nostalgia wise, I had a good time with it. And it was what I was only reading those.
I was the only one enjoying it.
No, I was the only one. I was only reading the first two just because I wanted to make sure I was in the right mindset to enjoy Walt and Louise when they took over, because those guys, they are a great duo, and it's nice to see them working. So
nice.
So yeah, I'm going to get issue 4 as well, which is going to wrap their story arc up. I don't know who's taking over if issue 5 has a different team. I don't know.
Not sure, but I'm going to read issue 3 tonight for sure. Now that you got me all amped up about it.
It's fun throwback. Fun throwback.
Is it an ongoing?
I don't know.
I don't think it's an ongoing, but it is like mini stories. Like, so it's kind of like you don't need to, you can read the 2 issues you want with a certain team, and then the new team takes over. So I didn't love the first 2. They were solid, but I liked issue 3 a lot more.
You also mentioned Avengers Annual 10. And for those who don't want to spend $400 or $500, is this a reprint of it? Okay. So I bought this literally for like $5, and lady shipped it bad, but it is a reprint of this.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, and I shouted out Marvel Superheroes issue 11 from the early 90s, which actually like prints for the first time the Miss Marvel story from issue 25 that they were supposed to print in issue 25, that they had done the artwork and they had done the story, but it took 10 years before they actually published that stuff in a book that your dad drew a Ghost Rider story inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's when I
tagged you on. Yeah. So your dad did the Ghost Rider story with what has a Ghost Rider cover.
Right.
But the third story in there is the Rogue versus Ms. Marvel and stealing her power, which is ridiculous that they never published that event. Yeah. And they had this whole thing where she's like super powered and punching everybody, and you're like, what happened to Carol Danvers? You didn't even show what happened in an issue. It took 10 years to actually publish that. Ridiculous. Scandalous.
So Lasso, thank you. I think you're awesome too. We gotta converse more. I think that's the one thing we haven't done. We've spoken to each other on these things, but we get to actually have a conversation. And I mean, he's got some good stuff too.
Absolutely. And Roy Kirk here pointing out, touching the pages there.
No, that's all right, dude.
Oh,
I got my money back for this because look at the spine. It's jacked up. She shipped it in an envelope.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So
rookie.
I'm reading this for all it's worth because my 9/4 Avengers Annual 10 will be here next week. So,
nice.
And I'm never going to touch that.
Yeah. the one that counts. I hear you, man. Well, good stuff.
Until Justin sends me my X-Men number 12 that he promised me when we met.
Oh, did I promise you that? Is that what I don't recall the text. If that was the text.
I was using my Professor X power on you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
It sounds like a good move.
Right. So I just want to plug here that earlier today I actually just put a video out. I've been trying to get more recorded stuff out, and so been kind of keeping up on that every Tuesday. I think every Thursday morning too. I'm going to start having something. So we'll see how
this
one
was about reading digital comics, and I watched it. It was a very good video. I started to comment.
Oh no, that's
I watched it. Damn well I watched it, and I enjoyed it. And Justin, many props to you for that video, my friend.
I appreciate it, man.
You have nailed the actual feeling and the whole sentiment around not touching the comics and reading digitally, and how much more you can actually get out of the digital reading. So, if anything, it justifies my purpose in terms of collecting and so forth. I mean, other people might not feel the same, but like we say, to each their own. But
yeah.
I mean, I've always been a trade paperback reader for the first and foremost in my collecting days. I'd read if I loved the trade, then I'd go hunt down the actual floppies or slabs or whatever. But so, yeah, I thought it was a really well thought out video. And if you want to look at reasons why digital comics can be a useful tool and valuable tool, there's the guy with the video for you.
Definitely a good watch, man. All his rules, every last one of his rules was pertinent to the topic, and it worked.
Did you have like a bonus one you could throw out right now, like something?
Make sure that if you're going to read digitally, that your books are put away so you're not tempted to go over and pick them up and start reading. Just make sure
write that down.
I will say, as a dad, it's been very easy to let my girls catch up on any backstory that they want to read by just handing them the iPad and saying, go ahead. Because we have the Marvel Unlimited app. It's amazing. Amazing app.
It really is.
And I will say that. So there's your sixth reason. If you got kids and you want them to read comics, you can just click any. I like Charlie and Kate were into Vision and Scarlet Witch, the miniseries, and I could just all of them were there. They could just plow through them, not worrying my issues. I didn't have to even buy the issues. They could just check out. Do you like it?
Yep. I think Justin missed on one particular rule though, because we all know that he's got this like. I don't know, this morning appetite where you see pancakes and fried eggs and bacon and everything. So that should have been included in the digital.
You can eat. Yes, you can eat while you read. That is a good point.
Greasy fingers.
Very true. That is very true.
From the master, bro.
I should have taken a picture of my food. I should have put the food in there as an example. I should be like, here I am eating while I read.
So there you go, Lasso. Now you got 7 reasons.
Oh my god!
And one little extra, because Chet, you were hilarious in the because it was a premiered video earlier today. If you want some extra entertainment, Chet had some really funny things that he added in some of the moments there. So yeah,
are you talking about with X?
Talking about church, he was like, "I'm in church right now. This is service in session right now."
That was funny. And I was happy about it. You don't understand. You can't see me on the other side unless we're like, it's like, yes, this man knows, he gets it.
Exactly.
Like, this is my friend. That is Justin.
Oh my gosh.
Good stuff.
All right, guys.
Absolutely good stuff. And both of you, I gotta say, you guys put out a lot of content. You're always on. You keep people interested, and I'm really glad to know that this is the community I'm part of. So thank you.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that, man.
We're trying. We're trying.
You're doing well.
All right, y'all. So appreciate everybody. Make sure you're subbed up and following these gentlemen here. And we'll see you over on John's channel next Tuesday, 9:00, same time. We'll be reading issue 125.
I'm so excited, man. Such a good cover, such a good issue. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I'll stop that. I'll bet my 9.6 and put it right over here.
There you go.
No signature. No, it's not yellow.
I'll show you mine and you'll put it back.
I have a digital copy that's 9.8. So all right, guys.
Pizza stains right on the cover.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out. Appreciate everybody that's watching the replay right now, and we will talk to you guys next week. Have a good night.